Hello and welcome to the Chicago Tribune's Bear Download. I'm Rich Campbell along with Dan Wiederer. We're here at Hallis Hall on Monday after the Bears' 42-21 loss to the St. Louis Rams. Start off with some injury news real quick. Mark Trestman said Jay Cutler's sprained left ankle is going to keep him out of Sunday's game against the Minnesota Vikings. Lance Briggs, linebacker, remains out with the fractured left shoulder. They're week to week at this point. Not really sure when they're going to be back, so let's move on. Talk about...
Also, Matt Forte, a slight hyperextension of his knee, and they're very optimistic that he'll be okay, but they're going to have more information on Wednesday. Obviously, that's a position you want to keep a close eye on because the depth there has not been very solid this year, and we know that Michael Bush has had his struggles.
Forte did return to the game and finish the game yesterday.
And he was walking around the locker room, seemed okay. Everything seems good there,
right.
But they'll keep an eye on it.
Right, and you mentioned running backs on the Bears side. Let's flip it over and look at that run defense because that's the main talking point this week after the Bears gave up 258 yards on 29 carries. Could have been an even worse average if the Rams hadn't kneeled down a couple times. Just really ugly numbers on that side of the ball and some problems that are continuing to plague the Bears every week. We're talking poor run fits, missed assignments, lost blocks, poor tackling, poor angles, you name it, it's a problem on this Bears defense.
This was going to be a talking point this week regardless of the next opponent, but it's an even bigger talking point this week because the next opponent has a certain guy who wears the number 28 jersey by the name of Adrian Peterson, who's the reigning MVP, coming off his best outing of the season on Sunday against the Packers. And so now you have almost this perfect storm of a terrible run defense, the worst defense in the league, against one of the most dangerous running backs in the history of the game. And so the Bears really have to get this thing figured out quickly. As you know, Adrian Peterson has run wild on them before, and it could happen again on Sunday.
Right, and Mark Trestman, after his post-game video analysis, said that the biggest problem on this defense right now is not guys losing blocks, it's missed assignments. And I think that's probably even more concerning than losing blocks because you have guys who don't know where they're supposed to be and they're not reading plays correctly. And obviously, you have some backups in some prominent positions, some young players in some prominent positions because of injuries. But again, these are problems that the Bears are seeing in games week to week, even though Mark Trestman said they ran some of these plays in practice.
They do it well in practice.
And they do it well in practice. They just don't carry it over to the game. So you have to ask, what's the disconnect here? Mark Trestman, to me, seemed very disappointed, but also very determined that this can be fixed with some hard work and just continuing to rep this thing.
It becomes a broken record to say that,
right.
And when you don't see the results, you have to question whether that can be done this year. Now, the hope is Lance Briggs will return healthy at some point in December. The hope is that Jeremiah Ratliff will get on the field soon, possibly Sunday against the Vikings. The hope is that Stephen Paya's toe injury allows him to return to the field at some point. And at some point, you have a unit that's a little better talent-wise that can make up for some of these deficiencies. We don't know if that's going to happen or not. Obviously, that's something they're keeping an eye on. To me, most disconcerting yesterday, you closed it within 27-21 in the fourth quarter. Your defense goes back on the field, and you have a chance to make this a game. You get a stop, you get the ball back.
Too.
You're arrested defense. You get the ball back, and now all of a sudden you have a chance to do something dramatic. What happens? The Rams go 7 plays, 80 yards, and march right down for a score, and they only faced 1 third down on the drive. It was a 3rd and 2 that they scored a 9-yard touchdown on, so the Bears offered no resistance at all, and the game was out of reach at that point.
Yeah, Benny Cunningham, the Rams' backup running back.
Undrafted rookie.
Yep, accounted for 61 yards on 5 carries.
Yeah, 27-yarder on that drive as well. And then they got gashed on a 29-yard pass play after they had gotten the benefit of a penalty, 1st and 20. They hit the tight end down the seam for a 20
play action
29-yard game. John Bostic appeared to bite on the play action. Trestman said it wasn't all his fault. It's when one guy makes a mistake, it's all 11's fault. But I think he's just covering for a rookie there. And a lot of breakdowns on that series that took a potentially promising situation and turned it into a game sealer.
Yeah, well, we'll see if the Bears can get all of that cleaned up on a bit of an odd week. It's Thanksgiving on Thursday. The Bears will practice on Thursday as they normally do, getting ready for Sunday's game against the Vikings. And, of course, we'll be here for you all week. For Dan Wiederer, I'm Rich Campbell. This is the Chicago Tribune's Bear Download, and we'll see you next time.